Hello and welcome to the Lunch and Chat with Leslie show. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast tonight. Again, this broadcast airs every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. So tonight's broadcast, if you notice, it's about testimony and being thankful. So tonight is Testimony and Thankful Tuesday. And I just wanted to share with you that I will have a couple guests on tonight that will be sharing some powerful testimonies with you. I will begin with myself to just, share a little bit of information. Most of the viewers out there know me, but I felt like tonight is something that we all need. After coming from a family funeral last week, I was just really compelled to bring this message to you. So sometimes, things happen for a reason, and sometimes we don't understand, but by and by, God will reveal that reason for you. So I want to start off tonight by telling you what a testimony is in my eyes, and hopefully you can embrace what a testimony is for you. A testimony is something that you can tell everybody something special that inspired you, that motivated you to be optimistic and have a never-ending yield for God. That's always looking for God for an answer. So I want to start off just letting you know and be transparent with you because, I feel like being transparent is letting people know that, hey, I am a child of God. And no matter what happens to me, no matter what it looks like, even though I may have been broken, I'm here now. So, yeah, we fall down, but we get back up. And I want to just let you know that if you have fallen down, you will be able to get back up. So I was broken last year. Most of you guys know that I lost my sister last year. I tried my best to deal with it, try to, call out, yell out for help. I called out to God to help me through this process. But you know what God gave me? God gave me Lunch and Chat with Leslie. It wasn't for me. It was really for the viewers. It was for you so that I could share some powerful information that would help you through the process. Yes, the show, it's not just about gloom and doom. It's about inspiring you, uplifting you. It's a very informative, I feel like, entertaining program. But you'll see later on as I bring in the guests for the program that they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves. So again, I had to learn to let go and let God take control of my life and the things that happened to me. So what we need to do each day is we need to pray. We need to be thankful for the small things with great love. We need to also stop wishing, but we need to start doing. Okay. So, whatever your goal is in mind, things that you might want to do, just go ahead and do it. We also need to know that life is a happy adventure. So, the life that you may be living now, if it's not happy for you, you can change that around. And I'm going to show you eventually as time go on before the end of the year is out. I hope to be able to make a huge impact to show you how powerful life can be. You just have to learn how to enjoy it. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my first guest in. Her name is Shanquelle Saunders. Shanquelle.
Hey, Leslie.
Hi. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. So how was your day today?
It was good. I had a really good day. I saw my mom. It was just like a really relaxing day. So I really can't complain. What about you?
Oh, oh, that's sweet. Now I like that. I wish my daughters would say that. I saw my mom. Hey, that's special. That means a lot, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna put your information here so people know who you are. You are a licensed master social worker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I hope I got those initials correct. LMSW.
Yes.
Okay. So I know in your line of work, you deal with a lot of different things, but now I want to dive into just some personal things with you. You've been on the show before, and I do thank you for your ongoing support. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to know for the viewers, can you share before you even share a testimony? I have a couple questions that I have for you. Um, okay, first, before you share yours, I did want to ask you how and when did your relationship with God begin?
So I would say my relationship began with the Lord when I was in high school. Growing up, I went to church like on and off with like family members and relatives, and I knew of God and I believed in Him, but my relationship really didn't start with Him until like the 10th grade, so I was in high school.
Okay, okay. So what was life like though before God? Just curious. Was it, did you feel alone? Did you feel like you were missing
Yeah,
something?
yep. So I felt not alone, but I felt a void. Like it was something like I was just missing, and I wasn't happy. So I would try to seek happiness or try to fill the void by engaging in certain behaviors that was not beneficial for me at all. Um, yeah. So
Guess what, which we all have, I'm
yeah.
sure. That's why I tell people, there's no, when people, well, God says it anyway, there, our righteousness are like filthy rags. None of
Yep.
us are
Mhm.
perfect,
Yep.
but, the good thing about God is that He gives us a chance to
Yep.
clean it up and to get ready. So,
Mm-hmm.
is there any particular testimony that you would like to share um, with the viewers, just so that they can, maybe it's something in particular that they may be going through that you feel like might be beneficial for them?
Yeah, so I just wanted to share just how I got here, like, my journey to how did I become a Christian. Um, Now, I will say as a child, I never saw myself as being someone that was like spiritual or religious. But I will say in 10th grade, when my journey started, um, I became saved and I became baptized. So I knew a little bit about God before getting baptized because I used to just attend church with like random relatives of mine every now and then. And I did enjoy church and enjoyed the activities and like the feeling of being in church. I felt like whole and complete, in church.
Excellent.
Remember before getting baptized, I was afraid. I remember feeling afraid and nervous because I didn't think I was worthy to be saved. Um,
Right.
and I felt a lot of pressure. Like once I got saved, okay, now I have to stop sinning. And I didn't know how to. But by the grace of God, despite my fears, I still went and go ahead and got saved. Um, and I didn't know it at the time, but once you become saved, it's a process of changing your life. Like once you become committed to the Lord and you start to want that relationship with Him, and you start to be serious about being committed to Him and what His Word says, and actively changing your life, like He will come in and He will change your heart. He will make it so where saying that you used to find pleasing is no longer pleasing anymore, and it'll just happen out of nowhere, and that's all the Lord. But sorry, back to the story.
Okay.
After getting baptized, I still was going to church every now and then, still doing my own thing, not really serious about, God. But it wasn't until college where I was still feeling this void and loneliness, emptiness, and engaging in reckless behavior. Where one day I was just like, I can't keep doing this. I need a change in my life. I was just unhappy. And so just around the time that the Lord sent me my husband, and he wanted the same thing that I wanted. He wanted to have a relationship with the Lord. He wanted to, really change his life. So we began going to church together, studying the Bible together, going to Bible study, and actively like making changes in our lives that were pleasing to the Lord. And now, a couple years later, I still have my relationship with the Lord. I'm still growing in my knowledge of the Lord. I am an active member of my church. I love going to church. I love reading my Bible and just changing. I'm still changing certain things in my life. I'm not perfect. I'm still pressing towards the mark. Um, and I have an overall sense that I just want to please the Lord, like in everything that I do. And I would say to anyone who is like on the fence right now of not feel like they're not worthy of being saved, and they have fear of becoming saved, I would say go ahead and do it. And once you become saved, like God will take care of the rest. Once you are committed to Him,
Yes.
do the rest. But we have to take the first step, of accepting Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. So that's
Oh,
my testimony.
wow. That is beautiful. You know, when I hear your story, it reminds me of when I was 18, because that's when I first came to Christ myself. It
Mhm.
was a very, oh God, it was a devastating situation because my girlfriend was killed. She was involved in an automobile accident, and
Mhm.
that was the only time I did run to God. And from that time, I got saved, and I did accept Christ in my life. And from there, I was like, okay, it's all good. It's all good. I'm good now. But then again,
Mhm.
things come at you. And I did fall down. I'm just glad that God is married to the backslider.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
each time, each day, and every, I guess, day of our life, we're growing,
Yes.
spiritually. So there's nobody that's perfect. I'm not perfect.
Mhm.
I still have my flaws or whatever. So I'm so glad God takes you as you are. He took me when I was broken. So that's why
Mhm.
I say I'm so glad, even though there are periods of time where I am broken and I still feel broken because of, things that I've lost or people that I've
Mhm.
lost. It's just been, really rough. I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you. But I'm just so grateful that God has given me the courage to press
Mhm.
forward and to press on.
Yeah.
And I know, like I said, we all, at this point, I feel like we all need each other. Everything that's going on now is because God is
Mhm.
showing us, hey, you need each other,
Yep.
family, friends,
Mhm.
even the enemies.
Yep.
He's gonna teach us that we're gonna need one another.
Mhm.
So I applaud you for coming to Christ at such a young age.
Praise to
And
God.
that's beautiful. So your story has really, inspired me even more. It's a reminder of me, for me to not, be so hard on myself when I
Yeah.
don't, when I just fall down or feel a
Yeah.
little bit discouraged.
Yeah.
But I do thank you. I really do. I
And
have, go right ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say I think it's very normal when we do fall to beat ourselves up because, like for me, like it's like, oh man, I didn't let myself down. I let the Lord down, and I know I have this guilt after, like I saying, or I messed up or do something I shouldn't have done. But that's where I have to go to God's word and believe what He said. If I repent, He will forgive me of my sins and cleanse me from my unrighteousness. And I
Yes.
do that and then forget about my sin and get back up and keep on moving forward because the devil wants us to stay down and wants us to be guilty.
Yes. Yes. Now I'm gonna tell you, I forget this last thing, and I'm gonna bring our guest on. This
Okay.
young lady, I met her. Oh my God, is just bringing these women to
Yeah.
me or pushing me towards these women.
Yeah. At the
Because
perfect
when
time.
I met her, it was really weird. It was like divine intervention. So
Mm-hmm.
her name is China Summers, and I'm going to introduce you to her in a minute. But just to piggyback on what you said about, I remember when I was I think my brother-in-law, he was a pastor, and he wanted me to go to a church revival with him. I had already gotten saved and everything, but I was dating and getting ready to get married. I was like, oh man, I don't have no time for church revival right now. Like I want to be with my boo.
Right.
So he said, come on, like, hey, Leslie, I want to invite you to the church revival. So I said, okay. I said, well, where is it going to be? Look, and I'm looking at the top, and how long is it going to take? He said, well, it's not going to be long. So I called up, he was my fiance at the time. I said, look, I'm going to church and I'll get with you later. He said,
Mm-hmm.
going to church? I said, yeah, I'm going to this revival, but I'll be there real quick and I'll come back and, I'll
Come
figure
right
it out.
over real quick.
So I got to church, and apparently something got a hold on me. So I got
Mm-hmm.
all excited, got happy, and I was like a changed person again because I had already backslid. So I
Uh-huh.
came back to him. I said, "Look, I just want to let you know that, like I guess he said, saved again." He said, "You saved again?" He said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, "Well, I backslid, but now
Mm-hmm.
we have to wait till we get married,
Yep.
before we get a little busy." So
Yep. Yep.
he said, well, I don't know, whatever, how long I got to wait. I said, well, you're just going to have to wait, or, whatever's over. Well, long story short, well, he waited. That was it.
Yep. He had no choice.
Yeah, so he waited. But
Yep.
I'm going to bring our guest on. Her name is China Summers. And China, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. China
Hey.
Summers. And this is Chanel Saunders. So, ladies, I thank you both for coming on. China, do you mind? I want to let the viewers know how I met you.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'll start off,
They're not ready, Leslie. They're not ready.
and then you wrap it up.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
This is gonna really blow your mind. When I met China about was it like 2 weeks ago, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I had taken my youngest daughter out for it was like birthday breakfast. So I get out the car. I'm sorry, I get out the place, I leave the building, get ready to go to my car, and I notice this lady standing in my car. China, you can tell your sister this and tell her it's all jokes. So I was like, who is this lady? Did she want any money? I don't know what.
Oh, that's her. That is her.
She
Okay.
was just, she
All
was
up in
standing,
your stuff.
she was just standing there. And I said, wait a minute. I said, what is there anything she wants? She spoke to me and she didn't say anything. She was just
Right.
staring. And my daughter came around the corner. I said, oh my gosh, she's getting ready to ask her for money. So, well, no, but she said, look, she said, I have someone I want you to meet. And I said, who's that? She said, well, my sister has started this program that involves help with domestic violence. And I see that you have a boutique. Would your business organization be interested in becoming a part of this program? I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know she gave China my number, and China called me. Chanquel,
Mm-hmm.
China, tell them how long we talked.
Listen. Okay. We were on the phone, literally. And Leslie, I had to correct you on this one because it wasn't set. We was on the phone for the span of 7 hours.
That's
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Okay.
We actually talked because remember I had to take another phone call in
Right.
between. That lasted an hour. And I got
Yes.
right back on the phone with her. And we didn't get off the phone until I think it was like from 7:45. That was our meeting time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
7:45, then skip an hour. We got off at like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh wow. Look at God.
Oh,
Hold
my
on.
God.
But that's not the funny part. Leslie fell asleep on me 3 times.
And I asked her, I said, did I snore? Because I'm a snorer. I said, did I snore?
You ain't get that far yet. You ain't get that far. I hung up too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last time she called back, I was like, we might as well go ahead and do this again.
Yeah.
Pick up tomorrow. Let's
Yeah.
get some shut
Yeah.
out.
See, that was, and you know that had to be God.
Man.
Because there's no way I
Uh-huh.
would have met someone
Yep.
and had a long conversation for that span of 7 hours.
Yep.
If God didn't intend for us to stay on that phone and talk about some things.
Mhm.
So this is how our relationship began. We
Mhm.
started communicating, and I started finding out some things about her. I started telling her everything about me, and before I knew it, then we started even asking. It was just amazing. I think I
Beautiful.
cried, she cried. We just embraced one another.
Absolutely.
It was so genuine. It's like we're embracing one another now. It was so beautiful.
It was.
But China is. Let me pull her information up here, China. I got to give you your props too.
Hey, girl.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna put it right here. Let me see. I might change the look. Let me see if I can do it like this. No, I don't know what I'm doing. Hold it.
We were thinking I'm drinking my tea.
There we go. Hold it. I'm gonna move you around so we can see your face. I gotta do the layout a little different. Okay. There you go. Do you see it?
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So I have here that China.
I got it. I see it. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Got it.
So I want my viewers to know who you are. China Summers is a singer. She is a songwriter. She's an entrepreneur, philanthropist, a youth leadership coach, and instructor.
Yes.
Did I get it right?
You got it right.
All right.
I want you to tell the viewers about you, a little bit more about you, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. I'll just start with the stuff that you have listed. So I first of all, I'm a child of God first. Okay.
All right.
And then also I've dabbled in so many different fields. I like to play and say I have ADD, ADHD, ABCDEFG. I have it all. Okay, I cannot keep still. So, I really just have. It started in high school. I was so interested in getting out of class.
Sound
Okay.
like me? It's me.
So I joined every club possible to get me out of class. I was on the Bells team. I was in JRTs. I was into anything that would accept me. Okay. I was even in the international club. Okay. Don't okay. They had some good food. But so I really gained an interest in just exploring different things. And I'm never really settled on anything really. Or as in my youth or whatever. So I was just really into kind of seeing what fit me, what did I enjoy. And it really just kind of carried over into my adulthood. And I realized that I can be pretty talented or use my talent in pretty much any field that I chose,
Amen.
I even considered being an astronaut. I've considered being a brain surgeon. I've considered to be a lawyer, a psychologist. I have considered it all, believe me.
That's right.
But I just had certain knack for certain things, and it was more so dealing with people. And so I, as far as music is concerned, I grew up in music. We were made to sing in church. We had to sing. We had no choice. You better sing unless you're going to stand out. Okay. So we were the choir. I have a very small church. I'm actually still a part of Christ Foundation. We're located in Waldorf, Maryland. And so I grew up in this church. I've been going to church since I was second grade.
Wow.
Second grade, same church. And so we were, like I said, we were made to sing. So my voice, I did have a natural tone to my voice. But we sang a cappella. And so we had no accompaniment. So that means if you had a wrong note, everybody was looking at you like, so you better correct it, So my ear became sharp, and I just had, a natural knack. And I was one of the ones that actually continued on singing outside of church as well, and had a love for it. I sang through the Marine Corps, and then
that's right. I forgot you was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I was in the Marines too. Okay, I forgot that one, right?
Woo.
So I did that when I was overseas in Japan. I was into it a lot. And then once I started going through some things in my family, I became demotivated. I didn't sing for years and years and years. I sang to my babies. That was it. But you wouldn't really catch me doing anything unless I was made to do it by my family when we had family gatherings. And then I just decided, to get back in it one day. I called my girlfriend up, April Sampe. She actually just dropped her album last week. It's called Ugly. What is it? I can't remember the accolade, but it's called Ugly. So it's on iTunes and all that. But I called her up and I was like, hey, April, you've been doing this. You ain't never stopped. How can I get back into it? And so, she pointed me in the right direction. It's been history ever since. So I kind of got into how I started writing music. I just got tired of formulating my voice to fit what somebody else had done, right? And I wasn't able at the time to construct a song myself. And so I prayed about it. And I had a studio. My studio was my car from 11 to 3 in the morning every single day.
Wow.
Every single day. I was sitting in that car from 11 to 3. I wrote 4 songs. The first song that when God was teaching me how to formulate it, how to create melodies and break it up and break up the redundancy of it and everything. I went from song to song. When I got tired of one, I worked on another, and over the course of 6 months, all 4 songs were written. And so that was my training. That was my training. I've never had technical training. I've been in choirs my whole life. I've always, gospel choir, this choir, that choir, children of the gospel. I've done it all. But to actually be technically, trained Professionally, I still don't know how to write music. I don't know how to do any of that. So
You're anointed. That's because you're anointed.
Thank the Lord.
Yes.
Thank the Lord. So that's how I got into that, the songwriting. And then as far as coaching, so I into coaching and being an instructor, my grandmother started a nonprofit. It was a retreat, and she started it 27 years ago. It's called Sister Circle. It's an all Christian female retreat, Christian retreat for female. And we get together, and I just can't explain the deliverance that happens there. So let me just tell you a quick story about this. I left last time I went to the retreat. I was 17 years old. Went back to the retreat on year 17. Okay, I was going back because I was leading some deliverance in myself, learning how to trust God. I was going through. Okay, I was going through it for real. And I found my deliverance there. And so ever since, I was just like, I was anticipating every year. I was just like, all right, Lord, you had this for me last year, and I'm coming back and I'm coming to get some more. You know, what you going to have me doing this year? You know, what new task that you have? You know, what new lesson am I going to learn this year? And for 7 years straight, it was the same exact thing. 7 years, and that was how to have faith. And I never knew that it was so many different levels of learning how to have faith and implement that. You know what I mean? I just thought, okay, I did the first level, you know, so what you got for me? You was like, level 2, faith level 3. So I went through all of that. And so I think around year 3 or 4, I really started to want to get involved, right? To do some workshops. I wanted to work with the youth and so on and so forth. And, you know, they weren't ready for me to do that yet. Right. Okay. I had to put my time, even though this is my grandmother. Okay.
Right.
Don't matter.
She had to grow.
Well, just that. And also my grandmother was obedient to what the Lord was telling her to do. So just because I wanted to do it didn't mean that the Lord was going to give permission for me to do it. Right.
That's right.
So the first year I wanted to work with the kids. Right. Because that's what I do. I got a bunch of them. I'm pretty proficient in that, right? So I wanted to work with the kids initially, and they wouldn't let me. So they let me do a workshop. I was like, okay, I'll do that, you know. But I was still over there looking at the kids like, I want to be over there, you know, and everything. But I had to be obedient. I had to be okay with it mentally. I couldn't say okay, and then in my spirit, I'm still not okay with it. I'm still being, you know, disobedient and regretful in my spirit. So I had to check that, right? And my Aunt Irma, she actually helped me check that. She's so gentle. Oh, she's so
Aunt Irma, you got Aunt Irma too.
Yes, don't everybody. Everybody got a Mary. Everybody got an Irma. Okay. And they sisters. My grandmother's name Mary, and my aunt is named Irma. Ain't that funny, right? And their mother name is Maddie. So, so yeah, I went through all of that, and then the next year, the young lady that they did ask, they asked someone else to do it the next year, and you know, I was like, okay, yeah, she's a good fit. She's perfect. You know, I'm trying to be supportive, you know. I'm like, I want that job, but hey, girl, you got it, and I know you're gonna rock it, right? And I was really, really supportive, and I had to work at being supportive of her in that role, right? And so the next year came around, and she couldn't come, so they needed somebody on the spot. It was a couple of weeks away. I had no time to prepare my workshops, nothing. I had really no time. And they asked, it was like, you want it now? And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna take it, right? How bad do you really want it? And so I did. I rushed and I put that workshop together. I did all my research. I put this and that, and of course, the director of our children's ministry there, she was so helpful in helping me catch up and get everything together. Because they already have a theme and everything. So that's really what began my journey with working with the youth. And they kind of voted me back in the next year to stay aboard. And and this is why I say it's important to have integrity. my daughter I had written a play. Well, actually, my sister wrote it for me, a skit, right?
Wow.
And this is to how we bring the whole lesson together at the end. You can do it in different ways, but we just chose to do a skit, right? A little play. So my daughter she was the only one that volunteered to do the lead, right? So when she went in to do the lead, she wasn't good. She wasn't good. And I was like, come on, you gotta get into it. This is the lead role. You setting the tone for everybody. And I just kept trying to. I was like, listen, Shawty, if you don't get it, I'm about to pick somebody else. And so they were like, oh, okay, and she was okay with it. She was like, well, maybe that's what I need to do. I need to play the background and let somebody else take the pace. And I was like, I love that attitude. So who's going to do auditions? And so when they saw that I was willing to be fair and give, even though she's the only one that volunteered initially, she just could not do it. And I wasn't willing to allow her to stay in that role if she wasn't able to fulfill it. And so that's how on that one little thing is what actually told when the pastor of the retreat asked the young ladies, who would you prefer to come back and all of that? And they would say, well, she fair. She told her own daughter no, and but that's somebody else. So that's what kind of solidified me being in there, and I absolutely love it. I love it. I anticipate it. So yeah, so that's basically what I do. As far as the philanthropist and everything. I'm working with domestic violence, and so I'm an advocate for that beginning.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And this is a new walk for me. Definitely, yes, it's definitely a new walk for me. But I'm really excited about it because I didn't know that I would have this much passion really about anything anymore.
What? When I told you when I met your sister and she said that word domestic violence to me, I said, sure. Because I forgot, you're mentioned as domestic violence month. But when she mentioned it to me, I said, wow, I can relate to it because I personally experienced it myself.
Right.
And in the past, I said, oh, wow, I would love to be a part of this. So again, being part of a community that reaches out and help one another, I'm like, sure, I want to be a part of what that woman is a part of. So it's like God puts the pieces together of the puzzle.
Don't you know?
Even though like Shanquelle, she is a licensed social worker. She deals with children that have been
abused and neglected.
And neglected. Wow. So of course, and I'm sure they've been around domestic violence.
Of course.
Household. So I always said to myself growing up, I'm like, man, I would love to be able to like offer more of myself. So I think what each of us are doing now, we're able to give everybody something. So whether it be mentoring, coaching, advising, or whatever, I think it's important that people see that we, again, like I mentioned, that we need each other and forming an organization that's helping people that have gone through domestic violence. To me, that's a part of being broken, because when you've gone through any kind of violent situation, it breaks your spirit, it breaks your mind. You just become numb sometimes. So whatever we can do to guide people, and I feel like the show, and let me talk about your show, okay? That I'm going to look first. Let me just show the guests your flyer. Now I might have to remove you, but I'll put you back in, okay? All right, hold on, give me a second. I'm going to show them, and I'll put you back in too. All right, so I'm going to put her flyer up so you guys can see this. This is a picture of her. There we go. Yes. Powerful, very powerful message. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but yours truly, I'm on the flyer too. So, so she has invited me. Yes. Rainer Summers, this woman, I just met her, has invited me on her show for Thursday. So what we talked about, and I'm trying to really get other people to realize that in order to form an empire, sometimes you try to form it by yourself, but if you try to work together with strong-minded and like-minded people, watch how far God will be able to take you.
Yep.
And I'm so happy that, for one, I'm not selfish. Neither
Yes.
is China, and neither is Shanquell.
Yep.
So I thank God for bringing, bringing our just our minds and our spirit and our hearts together to make a difference. But I know, China, I have just a few questions that I want to ask you, and
Sure.
then I want to go into just kind of like, I got a surprise for the viewers. I already told them that you're going to sing.
Oh.
So again, I know you mentioned about like your relationship with God started when you were a teenager, right? No, you said second grade. You was in the second grade. But when did you realize that you needed to really lean on God? And when did you start saying, I need to really lean on God now?
Honestly, and I'm glad you asked that, because it's really the whole background behind where I am right now. It was that moment. And like I was saying, I grew up in the church. I grew up, and people used to tease us to call us Black Jews, okay? Because we went to church on Saturday. We honored all of the Jewish holidays and Jewish holy days, and Passover, all of those things. I grew up doing that. We were very strict. Friday night, sundown, Saturday. So we were all day Saturday. We were in church. Okay. I think those were some of the best times of my life, because it gave me so much structure. And I had went to go live with my aunt, and we had been going to school since I was in second grade, living in DC and Trinidad, going to New Carrollton and going to church every weekend. Okay. And then we finally moved in with my aunt. So that's where I got a lot of my spiritual growth and my spiritual background. But like I was explaining, I left home when I was 17 years old. And that was pretty much the end of that. I had the training, I had the background. I mean, I was that one that my aunt was going to a church. I was like, I'm coming. I want to go.
Beautiful.
Right. Everybody's beautiful concert. I was there. So I had a love for it, but it wasn't as common where I was leaving to go to. Right. So I kept my connection, of course, with my church family and all of that, but I just wasn't as regular. So I went through life really kind of thinking that I was on my own, right? Under my own.
That's okay.
I'm marching to my own drums.
Yep.
I'm doing my own thing. I'm strategizing. I'm not praying about anything that I'm doing, because I'm going off of what I think and what I know, right? I'm savvy, so I know what to do. So, and I was very, very, very successful in doing it that way. So I thought I was doing it alone, right? We think that, right? God said, I got a plan, girl. I've been carrying you the whole time. That's right. So, girl. So I'm going through life, and I'm, being successful, and I'm thinking that, just my perseverance, my dedication, my drive is what's helping to propel me into being successful, right? Until I got married, and I got married, and my husband was a nightmare.
Okay.
I don't know what a good pregnancy is. I've been abused through all of my pregnancies. So it was very, very hard for me being a Marine, going into becoming a victim, right? It does a trick on you when you feel like you're so successful here, you're smart, you're this, everybody has always lifted you up and so on and so forth. And here you are in this position, like, how did this happen? And so I was going through such a time where it was really bad. I was in court in Manassas for custody. I was banned from going on base in Quantico. I was in federal court in Arlington. I was seeing a probation officer every Tuesday in Greenbelt. And I had to go to social services to visit with my children.
Wow.
When you talking about humiliating, and I was innocent. I was a victim. But because of all of these lies and how the Marine Corps works, and I don't want to kind of get into that right now, but without having to go into why, but it was made where I was seen to be the one that was the troublemaker, right? And so there wasn't a lot of advocate programs to help me. So I went into, I set up an arrangement. I went through some abusive things, and I wound up putting a protective order on my husband at the time, my ex-husband, left my children with their father, and I left and came back home to Maryland. Okay. And during that time, that's when all the accusations had came in, and I was going crazy.
Wow.
And I was like,
wow.
One day I went downstairs, laid down on the floor, prostrate on my belly, on my face. I wailed.
Yeah.
I sounded like a wounded animal. Okay. I was wailing. I was like, Lord.
But you cried. But you know what? You cried out to him, and that's
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where it came from. It was just an overload. And I don't even know how I ended up on the floor. I don't even remember that. All I remember that I was laying there, I was wailing, and I was like, I know that you hear these destroying and demonic thoughts that I'm having down here, because I'm going through hell on earth. And I can't see my children. I'm being accused of things that I have not done. And this is exactly what I said. I said, Lord, just show me what in the world did I do to deserve this. Okay. Maybe I can swallow this better. Maybe I can deal with this a little bit better. Just show me what I did, and then maybe I could take my punishment like a big girl, right? Okay. And I was in such discord, right? Out of nowhere, this hush came over me. And you know how when we cry and we go, honey, it wasn't none of that. I didn't have a sniffle. I didn't have that heaviness, that help. I didn't have. I was like, where did it go? Where did it go? I could not believe.
Took all the burdens.
Oh my
yes.
Every last of me.
Everything that you was going through. He said, I got it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Didn't answer my question now.
Okay.
But he took that pain up off of me instantaneously, that I could not deny that it was him, because I was in wailing. I was in the process of wailing. And I just all of a sudden I'm just like, huh? What is this?
Yes.
I was just crying. I was just crying, you know. Yes. And so and I didn't get an answer then. But I got a phone call a couple of weeks later, and my aunt called me. My aunt Irma called me and was like, hey, Donna, I know you said you couldn't go to the retreat. Now, mind you, I hadn't been back since I was 17 years old. So this is year 17 of the retreat. Donna, you know, none of the drivers can drive this year. So we need you to drive us. And if you drive us, we'll pay for everything. I was like, okay.
Like,
this gotta be you. I know you. And I'm literally, because you know I'm dramatic, right? I'm like, all right, Lord.
Me too.
That's why we get along so great, right?
I know.
I'm like, all right, Lord, I know this is you. I know this is you. I was like, yes, Auntie, I'll go. Went to the retreat, got really good information, nugget here, a nugget there, things I could use in my life and all of that. But guess what? I had experienced the Lord, right? I had experienced him personally. I had that feeling, and I was like, that's what I went there looking for. Y'all got some good information. Great, thank you. I'll take that. I'll use it too and put it in the bag, right? Here we go. But I was looking for the Lord. I ain't lying to you, honey. I was looking for the Lord, and I was there on
look, seek and you should find.
Listen, so I'm up in the Delaware. We in the mountains area, right? We on a river. It's beautiful. Delaware River, the mountains, you can swim across the river and touch the mountains. Literally. It was that good, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, Lord, where are you? Do I need to look in the river? Do I need to look in the trees? Am I going to see a sign in the mountains? Like literally, I'm not being funny, but I was saying this. I hadn't heard from him at this point, so I'm getting desperate. I'm like, we got a day and a half left.
Okay.
I got to get something before I come up off this mountain, Lord. You know. So I'm like, okay, where do I? And nothing happened. Nothing happened. Right. So one day I'm walking. The next day I'm walking around, and I'm just minding my it ain't on my mind. out of nowhere, this is what I hear. You need to relinquish your control.
Come on. Woo!
Mm.
Yeah. Come on.
Look, is this
Come on, God.
are you talking to me right now, Lord?
Preach
Is
it.
this,
Come on.
is this the conversation? Is this what I was waiting for?
Yeah.
I literally went into a trance,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
First, mentally, I asked the Lord, I was like, well, what do you mean? You are always in control. What do you mean I need to relinquish the control?
Yes.
This is the vision that he gave me. When I
Yes.
made the decision to leave my children in
Yes.
Virginia with their dad, and I decided strategically that okay, I'm gonna let them be here. They were in school for they was in school for 4 months out of the 6. We had moved in the summertime, right? So they had just got acclimated. I thought I was doing a good thing by not snatching them back out of school and taking them through the riff-raff and all of that. So I decided to let him come back because he had a protective order and he be with the kids, and then I'll come in and do a transition during the summertime. Okay. This is what the Lord showed me. He showed me all this. He said, remember when you did that? Remember when you thought that was a good idea? Saying good at the time, didn't you? Yeah. That's why you're going through what you're going through.
I got you.
I was like, huh? What do you mean? Hold, wait a minute. You telling me that I didn't do nothing, but what I didn't do is come to you because I didn't call on you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pray. Because I didn't ask and seek his guidance.
Yep. Okay.
See, God is like air traffic control. He will direct you around the storm. You need to go up because the plane is coming on your level.
Coming this way.
And you got to go and fly right into it. You can't foresee it.
Yes.
God foresees it, right? So if your line of communication is staticky, then you can't communicate. You can't hear clearly here.
And hear what God's trying to tell you.
If you don't never turn it on, then you're not going to get. So that was the beginning of God said, you need to relinquish control. When he said, I don't want you to do nothing. I don't want you to do anything. I need you to go and sit down, and I'm going to show you exactly how I treat my children. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how I teach you. So everything, I mean, I wasn't doing anything. Everything was just coming to me. God was showing me himself in a major way.
Amen.
Okay. I can't even, my testimony with that over the last 10 years is bountiful. You understand what I'm saying? It's a book. It's a whole book.
Yeah.
It is a complete book. Because if I tell you the stories, you'd be like, what? I was telling someone this story, and she was like, I'm jealous. I want to know the Lord like that. I Jesus.
Come on.
Yeah. Jesus. You know?
See, sometimes when we're going through a storm, we don't quite understand the purpose of that storm.
Oh my goodness.
That you know, all we see is
the
sky, all we see is the clouds and all this stuff raining on us. Instead of just waiting, like I said, wait on the Lord, because He will reveal to you that it will. It's not. See what we see. Lean not to our own understanding. We think it's the worst thing possible.
Right.
And when I look back, when I was younger, oh my God, I'm like, God, Lord, I'm still here. You know, you ask yourself, you know, I'm still here. You still keeping me here. I'm not dead. I ain't gone on my mind. I'm not crazy. I'm still here. So His, you know, to me, when they say His grace and mercy, it's definitely God's grace that covered you and brought you back, you know, to where He wanted to have you. Because, girl, I tell you, I remember when, just to share this real quick, and I want to wrap it up a little bit. I want to hear you sing. But I remember when I was going through something with my daughter's father, and I remember me sitting in the chair, rocking back and forth, asking God, kind of like that, like, God, like, how are you going to let this happen to me? Why are you letting me go through these changes, this abuse, this overwhelming hurt and pain? Why are you allowing this? So I had a little conversation with God. I guess God said, I ain't allowing anything. It's what you allow. So I can't blame it on God. So God just told me, I'm going to fix it for you now. So what I want you to do is just sit back. I want you to relax. Give me the wheel and let me take over. I did that. And before I closed my eyes and I just like inhale, exhale, whatever I had to do. And when I opened up my eyes, I was crying. Like, it was like, oh God. And then all of a sudden He said, Now go in the room. You're gonna crawl in the room, and I want you to open up the Bible, and I want you to go to Psalms 37, and it says, "Do not fret.
Mm.
Do not fret because the evildoers, things that happen to you. Don't fret. Give everything." So God, I've learned to give everything to God. Everything that may have happened to me, even recently, last year, I gave it to God. I had the nerve to quit a job last year. God says, "Look, I gave you that job. I own the world. So what are you afraid of? You're afraid because you quit a job that I'm not going to take care of you?
Yep.
Who told you that? I will provide. I'm your protector. I'm everything that you need." So I've learned to let go and let God, and not to worry anymore. Now, my early years, I couldn't understand. I said, "God, why I got gray hair in my head?" He said, "Because you worry." So now I notice my gray hair not coming up as fast. That's because I've learned to give it to God. So I know you shared with me, Summers, how you came about writing your song. So I want you to take us into that, and then I want you to sing that song for us.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So like I said, I had to explain earlier, I asked God to show me how to write. This was the song that we started with, and it was more of my personal testimony with the Lord, what I was going through at the time. And it was so crazy because I think I had shared this with you too, Leslie. The last portion of the song, couldn't get it. Whatever, the Lord just would not release it to me, right? And I was coming down 295 going south one day. And I was like, Lord, like I said, my car was my studio. So anywhere I went, I'm still, practicing and, bringing it up and so on and so forth or whatever, right? And so I'm going down 295 south, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in here by myself. I'm going to try it again. Let me see what I can come up with, right? Blank and blank. Okay. I was just like, Lord, why won't you give me the last part of this song? It's about to be crazy. It's been a couple of months. It had been a couple of months now. I could not have it. Let me tell you, I got the worst spiritual whipping in my life. You hear me? The Lord, I was in there like, oh, do I need to pull over? I had more tears. I had so many tears coming down. I couldn't hardly see in front of me. It was really hard for me to see. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes. Okay. So I'm going through this spiritual butt whipping, right? And the Lord is chastising me, and He chastise the ones that He loves, right? Like a father does his son. So the Lord was chastising me, and I was accepting because I knew everything to be true. Okay.
Yeah.
We know self. Okay. So I went through that, and as soon as he finished, that's the last part of the song came to me. Literally, just like that. So that's how I came up with the ending of the song. So this song is a cappella, which is really a tribute to how I grew up singing. It really makes you sing the song, and it really makes you connect with the words and the emotion that's behind the song. So it's really kind of like an old Negro spiritual as a tribute to how I grew up in church, and I just love my church music. It's none other. You don't hear anything out here like it. You really don't, unless you go searching. So here it is. Okay. The song isn't even named. Honestly, it's not.
God give you the name. God will give you the name.
He will give me a name. I've recorded it and everything, and I still don't have a name. So
it's all right.
Here we go. I talk to myself all the time. Nobody to impress or sway my mind. I know what I want. I know what I need. To be with God after running this race. So I ask myself, why no change, no fear of what's to be, and that's the same old me. 'Cause in this life of sin, I will no longer stand. No one was for me, but settling for less. The growth of true love. Being suppressed. So I ask myself, why? Why no change? No fear was to be. And that's the same old me. 'Cause when you know the truth, there's no real excuse for not embracing change and never stay the same. 'Cause I know the one who'll carry your burdens to a place of no return and set your soul with the sun. 'Cause sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down. Fear and strategy, it gets in the way of who he can be. That's why I praise him, love him, seek him, Lord.
Jesus.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know a star. Yes.
Yes.
That is so beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, man.
Yes, I
Shanquell, I told you this woman.
Yes.
I tried to
Lord.
sing one night. Well, I tried to sing when I first met her. She just listened like, "Oh Lord, child, you need some help." That's not my gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told China that I want to dance to that song.
yes.
So she gives me that lyrics. I could see
I
it.
got a
and
couple
visualize
other
it.
ones too. You know, they got some music behind it, so I might can choose a little something.
Okay. Okay. Oh my God. I have really enjoyed you ladies. This has been phenomenal. It's always a pleasure. And you know how we do. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it going because you're going to be back on the show. So
Yes.
I always invite Chantel. I know that you'll come anytime, right?
Yep. Anytime.
And China.
You know
I would like
well.
to invite you back on the show.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to tell you I want to do like a testimony Tuesday, like do it every third Tuesday, whatever other month. So, we all have, and that's just a snippet I know of your testimony. We all have different testimonies. So
Yes.
I say ditto. Let's do it again.
Hey.
Let's do it again.
Yes.
So I thank you. And I will definitely see you, China, this Thursday.
This Thursday.
Okay. Yep, yep. And
It's
I'll
a
see you.
pleasure.
And I'll see you in church on
Yes.
Sunday.
Okay.
That's the connection. I love you, ladies.
Me too.
Bye.
There you have it. The Lunch and Chat with Leslie show, Testimony and Thankful Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, the same time. You have a great evening and take care.